went on just a big rant of why I think zoos are like stupid. I was like, why cage animals like that? A huge rant onto it. Like so ridiculous.
Why zoos are stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what were your reasons?
Or just like it's like cameras and deer stands for fat people. It's like we made it so accessible for them. It's like that's not how it should work. Like it should be hard to see these things. Yeah, that's how it should be.
Like it should be a challenge to visit a zoo.
Like it's so unfair for like the animal is just like, oh, let's put you in a cage. I'm like, that's not how life is.
Oh man, that's pretty good. So people didn't like that.
I think you put it in, and I think everyone was like, that's not a bad take.
No, it's a great take, and I love doing stuff like that, like just to push people's buttons, and you have some logic behind it. Like,
Yeah.
I went in on Buc-ee's on a Sunday. That really people got mad at me for it, but I mean, dude, I went and got stuck in traffic going to Florida for like an hour.
Oh, trying to get on the
Gridlock,
thing.
and Angel and the kids go in to use the bathroom. I'm like literally stuck. I can't leave. I can't go to another gas station. So I was like, Buc-ee's is a terrible place. And that really upset some people. But apparently that one on the way to Florida is the one that's known as being the
new one
worst.
that's coming up too.
Yeah. And then I've upset people about I don't like turkey. And my theory is nobody really likes turkey.
Ooh, meat church turkey though. Dude, we smoke these turkeys every first Wednesday. People talk about it all year long.
You have them every first Wednesday.
I mean, every Thanksgiving every November 1st Wednesday.
Okay, why just that day?
Because we do like a Friendsgiving meal.
Okay.
But I'm starting to do it more because I like to put in everything else that I eat.
Okay, so you eat a lot of turkey.
Well, because I'm anti processed meats, and so I don't trust whatever you want to call them, deli meats.
Okay.
I'm not getting colon
sure.
cancer.
Yeah, so I guess you're kind of messing me up because the reason I say nobody likes turkey is because you eat it 2 times a year.
Yeah.
And I eat steak. I mean, if the budget allows, I'll eat steak every week.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
No, this turkey's good. You brine it for 2 days.
Yeah, that's
and
too much work.
Smoke it with cherry wood.
You know what I do to a steak? I put salt and pepper on it, and I throw it on the grill, and it's perfect.
I did just salt last night.
No pepper?
No pepper.
Was it good?
It's incredible. Sirloin.
That's like a Brazilian style.
Sirloin only. None of that, all that fatty stuff. I want to taste the meat, not just.
So you like lean.
Yeah.
Lean. Okay. Well, I am here with Connor Bledsoe, Pastor Connor Bledsoe, to me and to the rest of the world. So yeah, we already started, Connor.
I figured that. Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad you're here. I've been, wanting to have you on for a while. I was thinking about this morning when I first met you. I mean, several years ago, you were Pastor Scott's son, and you just got to be nice to the pastor's kid. Hey, let's be nice to the pastor's kid. And then I got to know you. I was like, okay, this dude's cool. And so then I stopped being friends with your dad, and I just focused in on you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I love your dad. Your dad is like one of the sweetest dudes.
He is.
Is he like nice behind closed doors though?
Oh yeah. So I always tell people about things like the rap for Christians they get is that they act one way.
Correct.
Now I would say like for the 22 years that I lived at home, it's like my parents were through and through all the way through. And it's probably the only reason I'm really even in church today because they actually had a good example to set.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were at a youth conference and I had like the parent session and they were like, how do you make your kids go to church? And I was like, really, it's the example that you set.
Yeah.
It's like your kids know the real you. They know how you act at home. And if it ain't real, then they're like, well, I don't really, everything they say is like, it's great you say it, but you don't really live it out either.
Right.
And so I think that was the strength of my parents is that they were able, they lived out. I mean, I remember driving home one day. My dad's praying walking in the yard praying because something happened at church. But it was like, oh, this is a practice, not just a speaking point. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that was a very important thing from my dad and even my mom too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I noticed about your dad first, because it's one thing when someone's nice to you in private,
correct,
but when the cool guys are around. That shows a whole nother light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember in high school, there was guys that they'd be so sweet to their girlfriends behind closed doors, but when their friends are around, they'd like talk down to them, trying to be cool. But your dad was like treated me with kindness, valued, even when all the big dog pastors were around. And I was like, okay, this is an authentic dude. And so, that thing about authenticity, I mean, that's what you're talking about. It's authenticity. If your dad acts the same way at church as he does at home, have you ever thought about this, like in the church world? And I hate to like jump in deep right now. I have no script. This is literally off.
I had no script either, so
I can just put it down.
I asked for one, but I didn't get one.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed people appreciate, because look, I got so many flaws, but authenticity is not something I lack in. Like I'm the same way all the time. I've noticed that there are some people, they think they like authenticity, but then their nature, and maybe it's religion, whatever, prefers some untouchable pastor.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like stoic, like, oh, that's so-and-so, And you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they think they get to be perfect in order for the position.
Right.
I know someone who's they have a home church, and their whole thing is that if you are saved, you don't sin anymore. And I'm like, that's
sinless perfection.
That's a tall order.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we have some people who come to our church and they were from another denomination. The reason they left was because that their speaker they couldn't relate. How can you talk to me about marriage? How can you talk to me about raising kids whenever you don't do it? And so I think, authenticity. People. You're the old phrase you hear 1,000 times. It's like yes, like people they appreciate your wins, but they connect with you on your failures.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what being authentic is like. Now I am trying to be the best version of myself, and I'm not doing stupid stuff that's going to cost me my church, my wife, my family, but there are some shortcomings that it's just everyday life, and I'm not perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, that sinless perfection thing is weird.
It's crazy.
We have our recovery ministry, Restore and Purpose Ministries, and in our first year, one of the neighbors a few doors down from our first house was a pastor. And so I met him. I was like, oh, you should come to our Monday night Bible study. Well, he started spewing this theological garbage. And I finally had to tell this old man, I was like, hey, you're welcome to come to the Bible study, but you're not allowed to talk anymore. And so he never came back.
Really?
He said, yeah, he didn't.
Dude, church people are the weirdest. Oh, they can be. They can be the sweetest and the weirdest people. So I've learned about being a pastor's kid for all my life is that.
You've seen some stuff, huh?
They can be the worst and the best people.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, I think you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what Christianity even is.
Yeah, for sure. So how are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah? How's the gym life? Because someone called me a meathead pastor the other day, which I found it was a compliment. He meant it as an insult.
Yeah.
I was like,
my whole goal is to eventually have they call it you go to that meathead church. That's what my eventually goal is. People ask me like, hey, like what's your opinion on drinking? I'm like, I don't know. I'm saving my liver for steroids. And they're just like, that throws everybody off. I'm like, oh, so that's more offensive? Like, really? Okay.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, actually, I'm working on a thing where one of the things I want to do in the future is do these men's wellness retreats.
Okay.
Where it's just like, I think like the tattoo issues and stuff like that. People are like, your body's a temple. I'm like, yeah, your body's a temple, but your BMI is as high as your blood pressure.
Right.
And it's like, don't tell me about how you're taking care of your temple but you don't have tattoos on your body.
Right.
And so I'm just like, there's things even what Josh Canizero says. He's like, if you don't take care of your health in your younger years, you end up praying. All you do is pray for your health in your older years. Because you're unhealthy and you've done these things that these habits that you can't reverse.
Yeah.
And so I personally think that physical discipline is the easiest discipline. Number one, and two, it's a structure that produces a productive life.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I love it, and so I hope to eventually ingrain that in the culture of Household of Faith, where we're not always trying to be bodybuilders, but our goal is to be healthy.
Yeah.
No,
it's important. And, what's your, and it's good psychologically too.
100%.
I probably value that even more. I mean, I like not being fat anymore, but Like the psychological value of just getting in that gym, detaching for a while is so valuable.
Yeah, I always tell people like the physical look, that is the byproduct of working out.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing is it's the discipline, it's the mental framework, it's learning how to overcome and push through, and doing things even though that are hard, even though I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's the real benefit of the gym. How you look, that is just a byproduct of that.
Right.
Right. And like that's and that's how I always explain it to people.
Yeah. No, it's true. Are you mostly CrossFit?
No, I don't do any CrossFit.
Oh, you don't do CrossFit? I thought that's
Actually, I have a small group, and so I'll do 1 day a week for the 20 weeks of the year. We have small group, and we do like a high rocks kind of thing. But it's a group training thing. And it's funny because people they don't take it serious at first. Like they're like, oh, all you do is work out. I'm like, no. I'm like, actually, I probably have one of the most effective small groups.
Yeah.
I think we've had six couples come to church because of my small group who didn't come here. I have guys who are like, I joined because it was a workout thing, but then I heard y'all listen, and so actually I bought a Bible and I'm reading it for the first time ever.
Come on.
And so it's actually become extremely effective of getting men into church, which is really what my passion's at, is men's ministry more than anything else.
Yeah. Man, that's cool. Do you do it at your house? Do y'all go to a gym?
So my brother-in-law has his own. He's spent all his money on a home gym, and it's tight.
Nice.
So
That's a great idea. I got convicted a few months ago and finally did something about it 2 weeks ago. I try not to have friends at the gym. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. And there was I've been successful at 2 gyms. I left my last gym because I accidentally made friends, and then they're just trying to talk to you the whole time,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to work out. So I go to a new gym, and I don't like the perception because I figure people think I'm just some weirdo that doesn't antisocial, and that's like me fighting my nature to be antisocial. Well, anyway, last week I broke down and talked to this whole group of guys, and I really didn't want to become friends with them because they seem like cool guys. And all they do is talk to each other. Like that's all they do. I look over, they're just talking to each other. They don't work out. And so I do not want to fall into that trap.
That's the old retired guys?
No.
I have a group of those 8 at my gym.
It's like one of them's kind of, very fit. He's like the leader of their little group. 2 are fat. And then others are just, probably about like me. You can tell they work out, but, they could probably do better.
Dude, one of my best friends, we met, let's see, I'm 31, so 13 years ago at the gym. He actually stood in my wedding.
You met him at the gym?
I met him at the gym.
That's cool. Well, I broke down and became friends with him. I saw him at a restaurant eating. I cracked a joke, and then now
What I do is literally, like,
friends.
if I'm working out and you talk to me, I will literally walk away mid-sentence while you're talking to me to do my set, then I'll come back. I'm like,
Okay.
hey, I got it. I'm like, hey,
Okay.
But,
I got to get more discipline there.
But man, I know everyone at my gym. I can almost tell you what car they drive. Even tell them like, oh, I know Jim and Tammy are here. I see their 2 cars
Yeah.
here at
Oh, yeah.
5 a.m.
Well, apparently this group, they have nicknames for everybody in the gym. And so I said, do not tell me my nickname. And so there's this one guy that he looks just like Donald Trump, kind of like a jacked Donald Trump.
Nice.
And one day I was working out with my boys, my sons, and I said, hey, man, I'm sure you get this all the time, but who do people tell you look like? He was, I don't know. I was like, come on, man. You look like a jacked Donald Trump. I threw jacked in there and he goes, well, I asked these guys, hey, that's got to be Donald Trump, right? They go, no, that's anti-Donald Trump. He's a lobbyist for the Democratic Party, and he gets angry when people tell him he looks like Donald Trump, so he doesn't like me.
What a good insult.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to dye his hair blonde and
Yeah.
paint his skin orange. He doesn't have to do that.
That is crazy.
It's like he's a look-alike, but he hates it. I don't know. Well, that's good. Yeah, fitness is important. How about your family? How's your family handling all the because you just took over a household of faith from your dad, who's been the pastor for
28 years.
28 years, who took it over from his dad, how long did your grandfather pastor?
27 or 28 years as well.
So 28. So you have a job for 28 years.
Yeah, so I can retire at 58.
That's awesome.
It'd be great.
That's awesome. How's Megan and what are your kids' names? If you don't.
I have my oldest son is Brooks and my second son is Britton.
Brooks and Britton, 2 sons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had their initials are the exact same, which sounded cool in the front end. terrible now. It's like on everything, we're like, how do we differentiate toys and stuff like that? It's just your BRO and your BRI.
Yeah, that's a challenge with like the whole monogram trend and all of that. Yeah. But how's Megan and the kids handling everything?
They're doing. I mean, my two kids are 5 and 4. They probably don't know anything different.
Right.
I think Britton's he's like, Dad, why are you in charge of the church? I'm like, I don't know. I asked the same question, dude.
That's funny.
But my wife, I think for my wife, the hardest thing was, so my mom still works at the church, and my mom will probably outwork most men. Mm-hmm. That's how she is.
She is a beast.
Yeah, she does.
She's so great.
Construction, stuff like that. And so for Megan, it was, you don't have to be a Vanessa. You can just be a Megan.
That's good.
And I think she was like, I think they're on like, who's expecting you to be like my mom? Like no one is.
Right.
And I don't really think people are, but from her perspective, I could see where that would definitely be something where it's like, okay, I feel like I have to be the same thing as she was. I'm like, honestly, I don't care if you even work at the church, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so I think she's done good at that. Now she speaks for me. She's an incredible piano player.
Yeah.
And she leads our worship. But I'm like, you don't have to be a Vanessa.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's important you took that off of her too. Yeah, because your mom is a different type of lady.
100%.
We have the pastor's breakfast that meets every month, and everybody takes a turn hosting it. Well, I don't know if you were there or not. This was a few years ago. Your dad was hosting it, and ladies never come. Well, Vanessa don't hear that. She comes and sits down and eats breakfast with the men. I texted Angel. I was like, Vanessa just sat down. She goes, I want to be her when I grow up. Because she does not care. She's going to do what she wants.
She was shoveling dirt yesterday at church.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, Megan is she is the coolest. She is such a cool chick. So she's a musician, singer, and she's just not a facilities worker. I think that's not a bad thing.
She can't cook and she can't do construction. So
wow, she's a girly. Well, yeah, she can't cook.
No, I do all the cooking at my house.
Wow.
But we're in the South, so that's where most men cook.
Yeah, I guess. I must not be a good Southern man. I can do it. I don't want to, though. Well, that's cool, man. How is so the transition's been smooth? I mean, your dad handed you over a great church, smooth transition.
I mean, I think that was another testament to just his, let's call it legacy, was how smooth it was. I mean, as far as I know, no one's left yet.
Oh, because you were told, everybody's leaving.
But it was good. I mean, I make the joke. I'm like, people probably thought he retired in April.
Right.
But I think he just did a great job of kind of handing things off, and I think it's easier to hand things off whenever things are going bad.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of not an ego to hand things off when things are going well. So it's like, okay, you know what? I've ran my race well, but really my legacy is how well do I hand off to the next generation.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you do your job well, people go further and faster than where you've been because of what you've done.
True.
And so they may see things that you haven't seen, and that's the end goal, but it's because of your foundation that they were even allowed to see that. And so it's your responsibility to build that, and then it's on my side it's my responsibility to appreciate that as well and honor that.
Yeah. That's good. And I imagine it's got to be pretty incredible to have his support in the transition and still there. I was thinking about it this morning. I think one of the most challenging things, because we started our church in 2018, is we didn't have a supporting church that sent us.
So someone that just has credibility.
Yeah. We didn't I didn't have much of. I don't know if I had anyone texting me on Sunday, hey, how did everything go? How's it going? I didn't have that at all. Still don't have that.
Yeah.
That's why I try to text you because I want to give people what I didn't have.
I'm so mentally down. I hope it was good.
Yeah. But I imagine that's so great to have because, you and your dad have a great relationship, me and my dad as well, and it's having your father's support, buy-in, believing, it is vital. What about your other family members? How are they? Because I know I think I've met I didn't meet your sister the other night, but I think I met your other brothers, and you have the one brother that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, he's I don't call him a black sheep because he's not a bad guy.
He's awesome.
He's just different. You know, he's a little more wilder.
He is my guy.
He's the reason why the younger two weren't parented as much. Because my dad's like, I was so exhausted.
So he's second in line?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 3 boys and a girl?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you got a baby. The baby's a boy, right?
Yeah, Nathan's. Yeah,
Nathan.
he actually works for us still. So that's nice.
What does he do?
All of our production. He's our IT guy.
I didn't meet him, but I saw him talking. He's
actually
like a cool kid.
he's getting a degree in cybersecurity. So if anyone has a job for him, maybe.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. My brother-in-law was doing that. I can't tell any details of it, but he make so much money in that. He's living in another country. Like, it's wild.
I know. I mean, I like it when people start their own businesses, and so I find like I'm just like that's most amazing thing with people. That's like, you know, I'm willing to do this by myself. I don't know. I really appreciate those people who are like entrepreneurs for that.
Yeah.
So I always try to push even like my other brother. I'm like, hey, dude, like, you know, I know you do this. Like, why don't you try to do it by yourself?
Right.
You know, just I just think that I think, you know, if you're supposed to be doing it, God blesses it. And I mean, what's better than being the boss at some of these things, right?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. And I'm an entrepreneurial type person. Like I tell people all the time, like, I think if I had, you know, for whatever reason was out of ministry, I think I would become a plumber. Mm-hmm. And they're like, man, that sounds terrible. I was like, well, I know for sure I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to own the company.
Correct.
And there's so much money in plumbing.
Yeah, I know plumbers, and they're not hurting for life. I know 2 people own plumbing companies.
They use, like, I remember when I was a kid, when people used a lot of cash, you'd see a plumber and they'd have a wallet like, you know, 5 inches thick with cash.
But because it's dirty, no one wants to do it.
Nobody wants to deal with it. And it is nasty, but that's why you get paid. And yeah, I would do it for probably 6 months, and I'd figure out how to get someone else to do it. And be like, it's right there. That's the pipe.
We call that empowering at
That's
church.
Right. Yeah, it's empowering.
We empower people.
We want to mobilize you.
Yeah.
And I had this missionary call me the other day, a friend of mine. And he threw some of this week-old church language at me like I'm some dude on the street. And he says, he literally texted me this. He said, hey, I don't want anything from you. I want something for you. I said, bro, don't be coming with quotes, bro. I like, just talk to me. We're friends.
Like K-Love.
Yeah. Is this the what is it, the drive month or whatever?
Drive fund, yeah. I know. I sat down with one. I was like, listen, I trust you. Just tell me what you need to.
Just tell us what it is.
Give me the amount.
Right.
You don't have to sit here and sweet talk me. I'm like, just give me a number.
That's funny.
Like, let's just cut all of it out. Let's just go.
Right. So, dude, what's like the dream? Like, you know, I would think that, I mean, of course, I've never taken over a church, never taken over a ministry. But I would imagine you're not just going to run the ball that was handed to you. You have your own dreams. You have your own vision, aspirations. Like, what does Household of Faith look like in like 5 years?
You know, I had like our first big like all staff last Tuesday, and it's like 60 of all of our head volunteers. And I was telling them, I was like, you know, like, my goal is not just to, you know, build some big church. I think, you know, a lot of people, they go in and it's like, you know, like that's the presumed dream. It's like, I want to build a huge church.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, my goal is I want to build a healthy church.
Yeah.
Like, I want healthy individuals. Like, I want like men who are good dads and good husbands and good wives, and just, you know, and like good godly men who show character. And, you know, and same thing with women. But then, like, you know, like I want like a healthy staff.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes what happens in churches is that, you know, the top level is taken care of, but everyone else is kind of second-class citizens. And I'm like, I want to retire in 28 years, and like people like, they just like loved working with me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you know, he actually cared for us. You know, he actually, you know, just, you know, challenged us, pushed us. You know, and yes, like there is some of the boss aspect where it's like, hey, look, you know, we're not going to do that. All right, that's not the culture we're going to have. But it's like, you know, I want to go out my way to take care of people. Because, you know, I went to LSU for business marketing. And it was like, look, new customer acquisition is always way more expensive.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and so if I have people now, and, you know, the thing is, you know, I have great people on my staff now. It's like, it's much easier for me to, you know, do this for them, little small treat here, you know, take them to dinner here. then blow up their marriage, and I have to find a new pastor and try to pull this campus back together. You know?
Right. No, that's so good. And that's something that challenges me because, I mean, I'm like a family man. Like I love deep. I am a very tenacious person, so I don't give up on people ever.
You probably have to have that whenever you deal with recovering addicts, huh?
What, tenacity?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a tough thing. But the hard thing about a staff is, and I learned this this language recently, you have church family, but the staff is a team.
Correct.
So family's not performance based. Like your brother or sister, you can get to a fight. We're still family.
Correct. But
with a staff, it is performance based. And so, like, if you're not performing, you can be removed from that team, and you get to go back to you're always family.
Correct.
But you're not on this team anymore, and that's hard for me.
Yeah. I worked with my own family, so that was a little difficult. But yeah, I definitely see where that is some of the issues of there. And I think that's why clear expectations are really important. Chain of commands, processes, systems, and different things like that. So it's not like my goal is it's like. I don't have to fire you per se. Is that you probably already know it's coming.
That's right. Yeah.
We've had enough conversations, enough of this and that's where it's like, okay, I'm not really pulling my weight of this. And so I've learned this the hard way is that one bad staff member, man, ruins a whole entire team. It's just like, it's like the whole barrel slat metaphor.
Yeah.
The team only rises to the lowest slat, and I've just seen that over and over again. And so, I've learned how important that is. I think even like my own, like, like one bad habit, you ever heard it is the mathematical thing of, never multiply by zero. Like if I eat healthy and I work out but then I drive recklessly with no seatbelt on, who cares how healthy I am? One wreck and I'm done.
Right.
Right. And so I think it's the same thing in our life. It's like, it's important that we do or we try to mitigate not multiplying things by zero.
Yeah,
that's when it comes with staff, when it comes with your family, it could be just be like my marriage. Like, hey, you know what? No, I don't need to follow fitness girls. Why? Because it goes to lustful, and then lustful goes to this, and eventually you're and you blow up your marriage, right?
Right.
And it all starts because you refuse to have a standard in your life, and that's the thing that like listen, for the next 28 years you will hear me preach this: have a standard. Have habits that set the standard, and then make sure that the standard is on Jesus. Like that's only three things that really matter in life. It's your standards.
Yeah.
Right. And your habits. I preach all the time. It's habits.
It's so good. Yeah. Man, that's having those disciplines in place, and just you got to treat yourself as someone that could fail. Because you are human. Like you just said, I love what you said. Like, I don't follow fitness girls, which, how are you going to know how to do bridge thrusts if you don't follow
Well, I did when I first started.
Girls.
Whenever me and my wife started dating, I did. And she was like, I don't like this. So I unfollowed them all. And I was like, probably a smart move, to be honest. Right?
Yeah. Having those guys online, that trips up so many people. And I created this discipline. You know how to have like suggestions, people you might know. Uh-huh. If I'm tempted to I delete them.
Exit off.
Yeah, I don't even if I'm tempted to look, I delete. I
remember, is it Tim Ross? Who's the one who's like, we don't dance, we get on booty cheeks. Remember the pastor who said that and he called it chaos?
No.
He said some weird quote. I think it was like on Easter. It was like we don't strip or something. And it was like, but I sat through his session at Gateway Conference, which is funny as well, also controversial.
Right.
But he did this thing about having parameters in your life, and he was talking about. He's like, I block anything even remotely close to something that would tempt me to fail.
Yeah.
On social media, and I always tell people, whether it's the gym or anything, it's like, you have to be the best version of yourself whenever you're the worst version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's all what a standard
that's so
is.
Good. So good.
Because really, convenience is what helps discipline. If the water bottle is close to you, you end up drinking more from the water bottle.
Right.
And so if you're constantly flirting with edges, on the good days you can tempt, you can resist from it, but it's the bad days that get you. And it takes one bad day, one bad decision, and you blow up everything in your life.
Yeah, that's dude. I know some of the girls that are at my gym. Angel goes to a different gym. I don't even I barely even say, hey, how you doing? Like, I barely speak to them because once you become too familiar, over-familiarized with someone or too comfortable talking, that's how – it's not like one day, oh, no, I just cheated on my wife.
Yeah,
It's a slow fade into that fail, and it starts somewhere. And I always tell Angel, hey, I don't even know who I would call. Like, I don't even have like the thought because I don't have that entry point into that fail yet.
Yeah, I was telling my wife, I'm like, you think for me to do that, I'd have to either give up pickleball or working out. And I'm not willing to give either one of those.
Right.
So it's never going to happen. But one time I did this, when I was a youth pastor, I did this talk on suicide. And the whole premise was that it's like a 2-year, so usually it takes 2 years for a kid. And it's process. It's like, I don't like myself. I hate myself. And eventually, you go through these phases. And one of the last phases is kind of like, you start visualizing how the world would be better without you. And so really, it's this slippery slope of a process that gets you from, I don't do the horrendous act on day one, but I constantly keep falling into the categories. And eventually, I make a mistake that's irreversible.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, in that day, I remember I preached this message and I thought I wasted my time. And in a Christian school, we're a Christian school, which, we strive hard at our school to be a school that's known by its act, not just by the name Christian in it. I mean, I had half the kids raise their hand on this, they identified on some part of this process along this.
That's strong. Okay.
But that's what everything you don't blow up stuff, on day one. But it's the constant slippery slope. A habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the form of a new habit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's with anything. That's with your work. That's with reading the Bible. That's with stuff on Instagram. That's with morality. That's with your purity. That's with your spirituality. Like everything. Be careful of the sliding slopes that we have in life.
Yeah. No, that's strong, and that's why self-evaluation is so important. I know yesterday I hate doing like computer work. Like I can't stand data entry. Yeah. I can't stand. I'm just not good at that. Well, my son Brody, he's 16 and extremely smart, and so I was like, man, I could definitely make him do this stuff. And so he sat down at my computer with my phone, because all the data was in text messages from people in church. It's like, numbers and stuff. And he was backdating it, I think that's 2023. I really suck at it. We had the information, just wasn't in this one system.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even think, oh no. He's going to be at my computer seeing all my emails and have my phone seeing all pop-ups and texts. It wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, I mean, and I think even like as a pastor, like you don't want to live life like what happens if I get caught this week,
Dude, I pulled up Facebook on I airplayed it because, we're starting this. We're launching the Baton Rouge Dream Center, and our first thing is going to be a mobile Dream Center. And so I was meeting with my team to see, hey, we got to buy a vehicle. Do we want a retired ambulance? Do we want a short bus? Do we want like a shuttle van? And so I pull up Facebook on our big TV, and I'm like, with my team, I was like, man, and I stopped. I was like, hey, do y'all realize like you want to live your life to where you can pull up your Facebook for people and not I wasn't nervous.
Correct. I mean, that's the beauty of integrity.
Yeah. And it's important. That's not just for us as pastors, though. No. Some people think that is, but it's not just as pastors. Correct. It's for followers of Christ.
Yeah. I mean, that has been the whole knock on Christianity for time's age, is that, we advertise something then whenever people want it, we don't have what we've been advertising.
Right. And
so that's where we get they're whatever you call it, whenever you have what you say you don't have, they're fakes or whatever it is,
Yeah.
And so I think, integrity just keeps you in rooms, consistently.
Yeah.
I've seen it over and over. Like pastors are kind of like planes, right? You only hear about the bat, or you only hear about it whenever one of them crashes, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with churches as well.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, man, that's good stuff, man. That's real good stuff. So, back to I love what you said about staff. Because that's a value I carry as well. Like I want people to enjoy ministry,
100%.
and I think what you said about wanting people to grow in you didn't say depth, but like as fathers, as followers of Christ, and be healthy. You said healthy,
Correct. Yeah.
because it's unhealthy just to look at numbers.
Correct.
And I bet when a pastor is more focused on numbers than people, that's when they mistreat their staff.
100%. You be able to perform. And I always tell you're three parts whole. You're spiritually, you're mentally, and you're physically. And usually you're really good at one, you're really bad at one, and so you try to compensate for the bad one with your really good one.
Right.
And really, that's a burnout cycle. What it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way when it comes to churches. For me, like attendance, man, that's a fleeting number, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I even looked at this, going into 2026, I'm like, okay, we're going to change how we kind of determine church health. It's not based off of Sunday attendance, but who cares if you have 5,000 people, but you have 50 dream team members who are the ones who are serving and bought in. It's obviously you're failing at an exponential rate.
Yeah.
And so, just for that, it's like, it's the importance of I think there has to be, for me, anything that's not measured cannot be counted, cannot be quality controlled, cannot be accountable for even for that. And so so who cares? So say we get 850 people on a Sunday, okay, but do I have a dream team member who served 4 weeks in a row? No one's asked them how they're doing, or they haven't been in church in 3 weeks and no one's even called them.
Yeah.
And so it's like really, I just find it's the same thing with staff. Is that new customer acquisition is way more expensive.
Yeah.
And really, to be a church, that's for a community and not just in a community. You have to care for the people in your church as well. I remember at ARC with Jeff Littles was saying, he's like, we have too many pastors and not enough shepherds.
Correct.
Now, and that really hit me because I was like, I think for a while, to be honest, when I was in youth ministry, I wanted to be a pastor. I saw the Carl Lentzes and I saw these people blowing. I was like, I want to do that. Mm-hmm. And I remember, even the first part of my marriage where I didn't have kids yet, thankfully, but I was wrecking my marriage trying to grow the biggest youth group I could. I was gone every night. I was, neglecting, my husband duties as a man to my wife. And it was like, who cares if I have 150 kids here on a Wednesday night? I'm about to get divorced.
Yeah.
And so that was a reality check there. But, I just kind of, it was one of those things where it's like, I was talking to Dan Arnold King today. He's like, don't ever try to grow your church at the expense of your family.
Absolutely.
But I think that's with anything. It's like, your ambitions, your life, maybe your business, maybe you don't have to open 4 more stores this year if you have to go to a second and third wife.
Right.
Maybe you don't have to add 15 more trucks or whatever it is, 15 more of this and that, if it's going to cause your kids to resent you when they're older. And so now the holidays and you're by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That I don't know if it's an ego thing, but it gives me comfort. You've heard this approach, I'm sure, when someone's talking to, someone who lives, sinful life, like, I could be like you in a heartbeat, but you can't just be like me, right? And I think about that because I know that I have the intelligence, work ethic to even go outside of the church and be very, very successful. And I know that I feel very confident I could focus solely on the church and our church would be way larger.
Correct.
But it would be at the expense of my marriage and my kids. And I find comfort in a few things. My confidence, thank God, doesn't come from the number of people that come on a Sunday. I don't feel like I don't like it doesn't knock my it's not doesn't make me insecure.
Yeah.
That we have empty seats on a Sunday.
My dad always say, Connor, if you take accountability for the big days of attendance, you take accountability for the low days of attendance too.
That's right.
It's like, don't take neither. Say it's all in God's hands.
And that's what, I look at it, I was like, I wish it would be nice to have a few less empty seats on a Sunday. It would be cool to be like, hey, we got a space issue. We might need to do a third service. That would be fun.
Correct.
But I would much rather have a happy marriage and happy kids and lead by that example.
Correct.
Because like I feel fully confident and that the Word of God says, hey, follow me, imitate me as I imitate Christ.
Yeah.
And like people can imitate me as a husband and as a father, and I don't feel like that'd be a bad move.
Yeah. Well, I think that's I think those two mindsets, like the get everything now, the try to go to church, like it allows you to lead well for a short season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But whenever you lead well with your family and everything else, you actually create a legacy.
That's right.
And it's like great. It's like you can run for 5-10 years and that's great, but how about you run for 30 and 40 years and you leave stuff behind and you leave things to your kids and your wife, and you set standards, and you set examples, and really what you do is you leave a legacy that changes your family and your surrounding for the better.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like it's always slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like but I think of like the whole Truett Cathy thing. It's like
the what?
Truett Cathy, the guy who started Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
His most famous thing is like if we get better, people will get us bigger, basically.
Right.
And it's the same thing, and so sometimes growth can be slow.
Absolutely.
But if you're prepared correctly for growth, it also can be exponential at some point as well.
Correct.
Too. And so I think I think of like our worship team. Right now, probably one of the best things we have at church is our worship team. And I tell people everywhere, I'm like, listen, our worship is so good. You are seeing 25 minutes of a physical anointing, but you're missing the 6 and 7 days of privately cultivated anointing. I know I spend time with these people, like they are doing things that are in the dark room, that are in private, that you'll never see. But the reason why they're powerful in the moment is because they have been crushed behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Like that's what health is really. Everyone's like, oh, I want a six pack. Yeah, but you weren't there whenever, I was eating bland chicken and bland eggs in the morning. I want a big house and night. Like, yeah, like you see it now, but you weren't there whenever I was, defaulting on stuff that, I didn't get Christmas vacations for a while.
Yeah.
But I sacrificed those moments in private, and so eventually people start seeing things in public.
Yeah. No, that's so good. And I guess it's my faith, and I think this applies to everyone. I just have faith that God loves us so much that He's not going to give us something we can't handle, and He's going to purify us and prepare us for what's to come. And so, I know that for us, we planted a church 2 years before COVID hit.
Yeah.
Barely had a chance to get off the ground. It was tough. Trying to get back to that point was brutal, but I know God has given me vision and has big plans, but I also know that if it was all thrown at me from the jump, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. Yeah. It could have destroyed my family, my marriage, my sanity, because, I've had to grow. I'm not a stressed out kind of dude, but man, when we built out this building,
church will do it to you, huh?
I was a maniac. I would say one of my biggest moments of shame, biggest day of shame was in this building and going to plumbing supply houses with my two sons. I was like, babe, the boys are going to come help me today. Big mistake. I was a maniac.
You lost your mind.
Completely. It's embarrassing. This day was filled with so many fails, and I guess it's a testament to how that's not the norm. My boys make fun of me for this day. It's not trauma; they make fun of me for it.
Yeah.
One of the funnier examples was COVID lockdown, and I wanted to bring the boys. We were working all day. They were helping here at the church. We're under construction, and I was like, hey, let's go get some lunch. Get y'all some a milkshake. I couldn't find anywhere that would let us come inside for a milkshake. And so Angel meets me, and Jason's Deli is the best I could find. I was like, no, I'm bringing the boys for a milkshake. You're not taking the kids. I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I don't handle stress well sometimes. And I just know that if everything was thrown at me that God had for us, I would have ruined everything. I know it,
Yeah.
you know? And so God is so good that he's going to give us these things in due time. And that's the same. I think that's the same for everybody. But we want to rush the process. I want it now, because we want to compare and win. So, yeah, I just trust him that he's got us right where he wants us.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, I mean, we live in a life that's instant gratification of everything, right? You know, and we find our worth in, I think especially men, they find their worth in their accomplishments. You know, and if you're not careful, man, that's the only thing you care about, and you'll end up burning bridges, burning people, doing anything just so people like, hey, like look what I accomplished.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the ego part of church that you're constantly trying to die to.
Right.
And I think so, and God, like, okay, he's like, go ahead, do this on your own and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And really, the goal is to get to a place where it's like I'm doing things that if God was not in it, I have no chance.
Yeah.
Like I am a duck in the water, dead.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's the place where there's a reliability on who God is, but there's also a faith in who He has been to you as well. I love the story of Ruth. Ruth and Boaz. I'm not gonna do that lame. Poor ass, they do that.
Dumb ass, broke ass.
But it talks about the
slap your ass.
Exactly.
That was crazy.
Everyone stole it from Jensen Franklin.
I know. It's crazy because he seems kind of straight laced.
It was wild. Yeah, I was like, oh,
that was wild.
But that whole story is about the providence of God. And it's not like God directly intervenes on different things, but it's like, it wasn't coincidence. And I've seen that over and over again in my life where it's like, okay, I've seen how good God has been, and so there's an expectation in the future for how good He can be as well.
Yeah.
But you only get that through a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it's also that sacrifice to say, okay, this is not my ego, but I'm doing this for God.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have countless stories from houses to cars to college classes about just the providence of God over my life over and over and over and over again. Now I always say for offering times, like I am not a prosperity preacher, but I do believe the gospel is prosperous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so and so poverty is not spirituality, right? And so I always just preach that it's like look. If I follow the will of God and I'm under the hand of God in my life, things, coincidence happen that usually benefit me.
Yeah.
And it's a beauty part of that.
Absolutely. No, that's so good. So good. And, the prosperity is not, I think that's what people fail. It's not just money.
Correct.
It's your marriage prospering. It's your life prospering.
It's your health. It's everything.
It's all the things. And we only place value sometimes on money, but that's the least of all the things.
Yeah, real. Yeah.
I know some rich people that they would probably trade lives with me, and I wouldn't trade with them because, having a wife and kids that love you.
Or just having a peace.
Golly, yeah.
I think it's something that's so underrated, just having just peace in life.
Yeah. Peace is everything.
Or even like health. I mean, you ever seen anything where it's like, hey, like, you could have $10 million today, but you die tomorrow, and everyone's like, well, I don't want to take that. It's like, okay, obviously, it's your life is worth more than that.
That's so good. Yeah.
I think it's just like the health stuff. Just, one thing I pray a lot about is just having the healthiness of, but it's there are things that are more than money. And right now, maybe in your current state, it's like everything costs something, right?
Yeah.
And trust me, like you have more fun when you have more money. That is 100% true,
Absolutely.
Right? Bigger churches more fun, nicer cars more fun, bigger vacations are more fun. But at the end of the day, there are things that matter a whole lot more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I remember I was on Rodeo Drive one day, and it was a few years ago with a friend of mine, and this guy's driving by, old guy in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini with the top down, and this dude has the biggest, cheesiest smile on his face. And I was like, yeah, but money doesn't buy happiness, huh? Yeah. Look, he looks pretty happy.
It's really hard to cry in a Lamborghini.
That's right. He kept going up and down the street just by himself. Like
he probably rented it.
He rented it, yeah. It was like, Toro.
He's like, man, I'm getting this $1,000 worth out of this car.
Right. Trying to pick up some rodeo women. That's funny. Well, man, Connor, I appreciate you and your heart for people. Enjoyed getting to know you and look forward to continue being I guess what is it, co-laborers? You know what I mean? Like y'all, we're basically on the same street. You're just a few miles down the road, and I look forward to many years of just doing ministry alongside Household of Faith, and hopefully getting together with you and Megan, and I just being of support, friends to y'all, and vice versa is something that I look forward to many years of. But I wanted to, just kind of wrapping things up a little bit. Tell us about y'all's ministry. Y'all have an incredible school, service times. Y'all could do some construction at the church. Like, give us the pitch.
Yeah. So our church is Household of Faith Church, and it's 54 years old. It started with my grandfather, and they started a school. And so I think
your grandparents started the school, or grandfather?
Yeah. So I want to say the school is like 47 years old. So it had to be under my papa. Well, I think one of the testings, to my dad and my father-in-law, who's the superintendent, is that we now have a school that operates from 6 weeks all the way to 12th grade. And so, I think this year, we had our first playoff game for football. Our school is doing great on those sides. But, we have a full entire school system. It's challenging sometimes having two organizations like that. But, I think we're really bridging those gaps in there. But we have a Christian school where Jonathan Moore, our youth pastor, does an incredible job of actually pastoring kids there. It's not just a school that has Christian in the name, but we do. We're going to be known for our character and our culture of actually being a Christian school. So we have two campuses. Crazy stories. We basically just given a campus. My dad just happened to check his email one day, and they're like, "Hey, we only have 8 people. It's like, would you guys want to take this over?" And so, we have 2 campuses now. Right now we're in one service, which is a little bit of the anti-ARC model. But I'm not going to 2 services, so I don't care. I think it's great how it is right now. And whenever we need to, we will. But yeah, that's who we are.
What time is y'all service?
We do one service at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay.
At both campuses.
Okay. What's the other one called?
The Galvez location.
Galvez. What was it called before, though?
Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it. Yeah, Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Yeah, in the graveyard, they had people from 1600s in that graveyard.
Really?
It's old.
It's an old church. Dude, I had a dream last night that I had some Baptist worship leader and pastor coming to speak at Purpose, and they baptized our service. It was wild. He was
somber.
Yeah, and he was doing some weird stuff, and he didn't know how to talk in the mic properly, and he was popping the mic. I was like, "Hey, man, pull the mic away from you, bro. What are you doing?" It was a weird dream. I don't know why I even shared that. So you got school, you got a Christian school from 6 months all the way to 12th grade, which is huge. Yeah. Just to be able to be at the same school. And it's the elementaries at y'all's at the church location?
And then the high school is at a different location on 933.
Ascension Christian is the school name.
Correct.
And y'all are the Lions. No,
correct. Lions, yeah. I know they wanted to be the monarch. I'm like, thank God. I remember Dad telling me, I'm like, what is a monarch? Like the butterfly? I think I would not choose that.
Oh, you would have changed that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
The Monarchs? Dude, y'all would have been made fun of so bad.
Exactly. It sounds cool in theory. But you're like, well,
it sounds like a tough name, but then you realize it's a butterfly.
Exactly. It's like, let's not do that.
Monarchs. No. That was a mistake. Your dad thought about that? Oh, shoot.
No, they didn't. It never did it, so it was never a mistake.
I know.
It was an avoided mistake.
But it was his idea.
It was someone's idea. I don't know.
Good Lord. I don't even want to talk about.
We were the Crusaders before, and that
Crusaders?
That was kind of controversial, because of.
Well, I went to Christian Life, and we were the Crusaders, and apparently Dr. Mullally, who founded the school, he was very reluctant and bent on that, and let them be the Crusaders.
Yeah, I guess how you look at history.
Yeah. So Lions. Yeah, excellent job with school, excellent church. Y'all do such an amazing job, and great days ahead, huh? So, anything to close with?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Get in the gym. You know, I'll tell you. You said you want to have a six pack. I don't want to have a six pack because I don't want to do what it takes to have a six pack.
That's a hard thing to do.
Good Lord, I've never had one.
So I started out this workout small group, and so like I was used to just lifting weights. Well, this ain't running. I was like, man, I'm not as in shape as I thought I was, and so that's been a challenging thing where it's constantly getting uncomfortable with something. And I think that's what what's the old quote? It's like the easiest way to be the same for years upon years is just learn the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, with any aspect of my life is like, okay, what can I learn that's new?
Yeah.
Or even being uncomfortable. Like even like, we did something Sunday where we had this like quiet time in worship where it probably made some people uncomfortable. But it's like, what? That's how people grow is to get uncomfortable. So
that's right.
So it's like good. Like, make them think like, okay, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
And so I guess my closing thing was be it like, man, just, get uncomfortable with some things.
Yeah. Nobody ever changed the world from inside of a comfort zone.
100%.
It just doesn't happen. Well, thank you for being on, Connor. And, love you, man. Love you and Megan. Y'all are incredible people. And so, appreciate you being on.
Thank you, man. Love you too.
All right, bro.